I think for adults, and it's really for, and I spoke about it briefly in another segment, but for adults, the OGs, the big brothers, the big sisters, the aunties, the unks, the people who people give the unspoken authority to, that it's like, I don't never say I really admire you, but I'm always in your car. I'm always taking, like, I like how you wear your jeans. I wear my jeans just like that too. You have to be able to speak the language of the person that's following you.
You are so correct.
To connect. I got 7 kids.
I got 5.
And it's beautiful. So for me, every single one is different.
Yeah.
I don't try to change them. Yeah. I don't try to, my thing as a parent is I try to tell my children, help me help you. Yeah. Like, if you don't talk to me, and I know prowling and probing and asking this, I'm finding myself asking
especially with this generation, child.
I'm asking my daughter, like, what we doing now? Who we got? You know what I'm saying? Picking and probing. I'm asking my son, hey, gay, where she at? You know, but that's just me being a parent and me coming from the household that I came from. I always tell them, I'm like, listen, I never had a person that I could go to and talk about anything.
Really?
Man, I grew up in a very strict ministry household.
I grew up in an apostolic holiness household. But my parents was cool. Yeah. But our church was strict. We got kicked out of churches because they was like,
what? How you get kicked out of church?
Because I had tattoos, and they literally called me up to the front one day, and they was like, the girl with the sundress and the tattoos, and they told me, if you don't change your life in 6 months, you'll be dead.
No way.
And I walked out, and I said, I'm never coming. And then, child, I done took my shit. I done did so much stuff, and I was mad at God for years. But it wasn't God.
But
it was
look
people.
at that, though. That's sad.
Ain't that crazy?
Man, I had the honor of interviewing Pastor John Gray, and I would always talk about anybody in ministry.
Yeah.
I think we have to stop with the judging.
That way.
Because you can create turmoil in a person's life and resentment in a person's life because of their experience with church was with you.
Yeah.
As a person that, you know, as a pastor, as a leader, as an activist or whatever, and they have an experience with you that'll take on a whole bloodline and say, I didn't go to church because my mama didn't go to church. My mama didn't go to church because her mama didn't go to church. And the reason why her mama didn't go to church is because when she did go to church, she felt like she was being persecuted.
Yeah.
Dig what I'm saying?
Because ain't no hurt like church hurt.
Oh, man. They'll make you feel beneath. But it's only one heaven.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't no VIP line at that. So I really take my time with my children, and sometimes it is hard. Sometimes it is really understanding and having patience, because they will take on this attitude like, ain't nobody going through what I'm going through. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody, you don't know how I feel. But as parents, as leaders, as the quote unquote, you know, the person that they looking up to, is for you to just take patience. You know, it hurts me sometimes when I can't have conversations with my children. Mm-hmm. And I really want them to know, it's like, you know what, Kiri, you know what, China, you know what, Chosen, like I want you to win so bad. I want you to understand so bad, because they just see daddy as a caregiver. I want Chick-fil-A. I want some new Nikes.
I think we got the same kids, child. Come on. My kid, child. If you know how many cash apps I sent before I sat down in this chair.
But even then, but you have to balance. You have to balance. Am I raising my child the right way? Because they do come from privilege.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And being able to teach them values. You could pull it up into a Rolls Royce Cullinan.
Yeah.
Boom.
That way. The only one in the city, say less.
And then all of a sudden, everybody looking like, damn, who that is, what that is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what you want me to ride, a hoopty just to appease to everybody else? No.
Yeah.
We was built to be who we are. And if that means standing out, hell, stand all the way out.
My kids were being judged because of my lifestyle. And I said, wait a minute. I literally had to tell the principal, what they pull up in is because they don't want to walk across the street to school. That ain't got shit to do with them. That's my lifestyle.
Right.
They got to earn their own.
Hard work, though.
It's hard work.
Hard work.
Years of work. But when like the hardest job ain't being Lil Mo and being scrutinized and being blackballed and being counseled and uncounseled and being called a legend and tears falling down my eyes. Being a mom, a single mom
parent.
of 5 with Generation Z, with how I was raised and having to balance it all out, ain't nothing to play
See,
with.
this is really why, like I always remind people, I created this.
Yeah.
Cause they don't necessarily know Cynthia. They damn sure don't know Karen. You know what I'm saying? But they know Lil Mo, right?
They do.
They don't care about, you know, the mom side. They don't care about, you know, that you with your kid and they battling bullying issues and
Bullying.
you
I had to literally during the Thanksgiving break. I was on 2 tours. Literally had to call the school and say, during the break, someone said they're gonna kill my son, their brother. I told them, I said, y'all don't want me to turn into Kanye.
Lord Jesus, stop it right now. Father God.
Wallahi on everything I love.
No.
We handled it. The police called me
Yeah.
when I was about to go on stage and was like, we handled the situation because I have a daughter that works for the feds and was like, no, cyberbullying, that's a crime.
Yeah.
You can't do it. They was like, well, because it didn't happen during school time. I said, let me tell you something. I'm not even in the city, but I got people with feet on the land.
Right.
Clear this before I get home. They
Right.
cleared it.
Right.
And I was wondering why my sons was coming home. Cause I was like, it's that, you know, all right, out of 5 kids, it's always, you got 7. There's that one, you be like, that's the one that's teed up.
Yeah.
But my son, he has a lot of emotional shit. I was like, why is he going to school every day on survival mode? Soon as he getting it, like I was looking at his Snapchat, he was like, the boy was like, I was just playing with you, Jonah. He said, I don't play like that. You got to run me my fade. And I'm like, you're 10.
Yeah.
Y'all just won the championship. You should be excited.
Right.
Like,
But even then, I would say this, and if I could give you any type of counsel with
yes,
that,
please, John.
it's really, what's the outlet look like? Because
There
you
is
could be a hell of a mom, you could be a hell of a queen, but you can't be that father figure in that
I'm not a
person's
dad.
life. You're not. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm not a
for
dad.
me, I've realized, especially having daughters, I never had women in my life. I grew up in a very masculine household. All right, now my grandma, she tough as hell. My mama, tough as hell.
Yeah.
My dad, he tough as hell. So it's like, I didn't know, you know, when Shakira came in my life, I didn't know how to nurture her. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, baby, like, you know, why? And I'm still learning that. So when you talk to your children and they think, or they look to you for all the answers, it's okay for you to tell them, like, I don't got the answers, but I'm willing to figure it out. And I understand too, like, we live in a day and age, going back to what you mentioned about Gen Z, Jaden, Shakira, they will go in their room and taka-taka-ta, sa, 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 taka-taka-ta, sa, 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 taka-taka-ta, fa, fa. And I'm like, what the heck? Open this goddamn door. Man, boom, like, let's talk. Don't nobody know how to talk. Don't nobody know how to engage in conversation. Like, what about, like, it's social media without no socialism skills? These people are really showing off a side of them, like, God, blah, 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 blah. And as soon as, boop, you cut that off, it's just like, dead. You know, so for me, I'm a being that I thrive off energy. You know what I'm saying? And when my own household isn't feeding me that, of course, I'm like, man, look, I either paid for it or it came from my motherfucking pocket, how you got that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I believe in, and I think this is also important too that I must mention, right? Having as many kids as I do have, didn't matter if I had one or two. All of them have their own personality.
Yeah.
And going back to the church analogy, we got to get out of this situation where life was what it was for me. So boom, you got to do that too. It's really identifying who they are and highlighting that. You know what I'm saying? So throughout the stages of puberty, Mother Nature taking over, girlfriends, boyfriends, friends as a whole, you try to weave in through and say, is he good? Is she good? Are they safe? You know what I'm saying? And all I care about is communication. Don't lie to me.
That part. Please
Because
don't lie to me.
if you lie to me and I find out, I feel like I'm the coolest parent because number one, I did everything at a high. I got a certificate.
I tell my kids,
I got a medal.
I've been your age before. You ain't been mine.
Hey, man, but even like for my daughters, I said it before, but I'm like, I'm preventing you from niggas like me.
Ooh.
This me. I know what I'm at 16. Come on, man, this me. How you doing, Miss Johnson? You doing all right? Yes, ma'am, I just got another scholarship offer. Yeah, we're just going to the movies. We'll be back by 9. Can we squeeze it for 9:30? If you let me bring her back by 9:30, I promise you, we're gonna be working on a project.
What happened at 9:30?
She was back at home.
What happened at 9:25?
She was active. Let me stop. But then, you know, your kids don't know how hip you are. And I'm like, how you think you got here, motherfucker? Like, come on.
No, my son asked me the other day, he was like, Ma, can you take some of that stuff down off your social media page? He got in-school suspension because when I'm Lil Mo, I'm outside, but I'm not for everybody.
Right.
It's just on the stage, and then I put on my, like, after I get out of this, I'm putting on my nigga clothes that way. So he was like, can you take that down? Because somebody was like, I'm gonna ask your mother to be I'm gonna ask Auntie Mo to be my Superwoman. Everybody call me Auntie Mo. And my son really really got upset about that. Yeah, and I was like, you can't be that way, especially when I'm washing your clothes. Oh my God, I washed his clothes the other day. Jesus. In a Underfill, I said, nigga, what? He's 13. Like, I lost my mind. I was like, where did you get this at?
Yeah.
Like, I lost my mind. But he was like, Mom, he's like, I gotta leave the nest one day. I said, you don't leave the nest yet.
See, the thing is,
I'm so scared.
And this is the thing. If you don't, if you don't counsel that, if your being, and that's why I'm so like, let's talk about everything, because if we don't talk about, if we don't talk about it, you're gonna talk about it with somebody else. You're gonna figure out.
I've heard some of his conversations.
Oh, but for me, like, I was so sheltered in high school and middle school. I was crazy. I made my mom and my dad and my grandma earn a check every single day. I was the one, Mrs. Newton, Mr. Newton, I'm calling in regards of Cameron Newton's behavior. Yeah, he's a little rambunctious today, super energized. I don't know why. This is the third day I'm calling you. Could you please call me? Like,
see, now I don't feel bad because the teachers always call about my sons. And I was like, they try to diagnose them. And I was like, I'm not medicating them. ADHD, PTSD, and I'm just like, no, they've lived their life. They're boys. What do you expect? I would rather them be active than lethargic. Because with lethargy, you don't know what's going on in their mind. So I'm not the mom that like be ear hustling, but I be hearing what's going on. I literally see my 7-year-old, I was like, he be cursing a little bit, but he don't say the word. But when they doing the TikToks, but I get it. So I let them live their life. But then I'll just be wondering, I'm like, am I doing a good job? Because they didn't grow up, I grew up in church. My daughters grew up in church. My youngest one was hitting the gritty with no shirt on at church. And they was like, let him express himself.
What?
I recorded it. He was hitting the gritty with no shirt on at church.
Let him use you. Hallelujah, let him use. Like,
they did. My dad was laughing. And I was like, if I would have hit the gritty or if I would have, it's different.
Yeah, it is, but you gotta let them explore and find themselves.
You do.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, that's when the shelter.
But I've seen kids their age, like I've gotten calls from other parents be like, remember your son used to go to school? One of the kids that was 11-year-old, their mom took the phone and he committed suicide. Like, what? When they were when it was during the pandemic, one of the commissioner's kids was his dad wanted to live his life through his son. And they were like, well, a couple of games got canceled because the son committed suicide. Like, these kids are 11, 12, 13. They're not even 15 years that they haven't even seen life.
Mental health is
it's
real.
Really, so that's why it's just like I'm real focused.